Isang bulan na mo orang cuma mata kini kau ni orang ni bimbang mata kini misal apa? Ni ada di sambul bilang nasi orang di sana. Cuma kira na orang cuma ini. Tu nasi le. Ni sambul lah, oh ya Mr. Ben.
Kenapa?
Nama kira ni bimbang mata kini ni kira orang bukan main orang. Kena dia Enabula FM.
Apa tu nasi le?
Good evening, this is FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. In this bulletin, Finance Minister explains VAT reduction. 9 homeless after early morning blaze. And local musicians strut their talent. Finance Minister Ayaz Syed Qayyum says there is a need for a progressive taxation system so that those earning less can benefit more. The value-added tax or VAT will come down to 9% from 1st January compared to 15% charge currently. Ritika Pratap has more.
The decrease in VAT to 9% is one of the major components of the 2016 national budget announced yesterday. Currently, VAT is not applicable on oil, tin fish, flour, rice, tea, powdered milk, kerosene and prescription medication. However, from 1st January, this will change.
When you go and do your shopping, you don't just buy those things. Some people don't eat rice. Instead of rice, they might buy cabin crackers. Some people prefer flour, some people don't prefer them. But you also buy potatoes, onion, garlic, tin tomato, you buy mosquito coil, you buy soap, you buy bleach, you buy clothes, underarm deodorant, you buy sanitary pad, you buy toiletries for your babies, all of these things will come down. So overall, even though the VAT is going up on these items, overall your cost of shopping is going to come down by at least 4.5%.
Syed Qayyum has also highlighted other benefits of VAT reduction.
By having VAT apply on everything, but bringing it down, we're also saving money. It stops the shopkeepers and some supermarkets who are stealing from the system. It stops them from stealing. Because when they file their VAT returns, there are certain items they sell that is VAT-free, VAT exempt, and some of them are not. So it gives them the ability to steal from the system.
The government has also increased the service turnover tax from 5% to 10% for the hoteliers to help offset the reduction in VAT.
So ordinary person does not go and live in a hotel every week. Some of them may go in maybe once a year. They don't go and hire a rental car every week. They don't go and use a jet ski, every day. Some of them probably have never done it. They may use it once in a year. You don't go and eat at a fancy restaurant. But you go and eat at a food court, you catch the bus. So all of those things, the increase in STT and the increase in the environmental levy does not affect the ordinary people, everyday people. It only affects those people who go and use those services. So we are making money from there to fund this VAT decrease.
VAT was first introduced in Fiji in July 1992 at the rate of 10%. It later increased to 12.5% and from 1st January 2011 to 15%. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
The International Labour Organization has deferred its decision to appoint a commission of inquiry on Fiji. The ILO body published a draft decision on its website dated 4th November. The ILO is proposing that a joint group be sent from Geneva to look into why the agreement that Fiji has put in place has not been signed by all parties. In Fiji's case, the government and the employers have signed the agreement. However, most of the trade unions have not signed. Attorney General Ayaz Syed Qayyum says they have not been officially notified of the ILO decision as yet.
Generally what we found that whatever draft decision is on their website prior to the actual meetings, that's what they adhere to. Because the draft decisions generally come about because there has been discussions between the three tripartite partners in Geneva in ILO.
Said Qayyum says Fiji is in compliance with all the core ILO conventions and they have always urged the unions to work together to benefit all Fijians. Police has arrested 2 people in relation to the death of a 14-year-old girl of Kulukulu in Singatoka. The body of the girl, who was reported missing earlier, was allegedly found behind her home yesterday. Police spokesperson Atunaisa Sokomuri says out of the 2 suspects, one is admitted at the Singatoka hospital while the other is being interviewed by the police. A fire completely destroyed a lean-to home in Kanade Road, Valilevu, Nasinu at around 5 a.m. this morning. All the 9 occupants of the home managed to escape the blaze in time as firefighters arrived on the scene. Alan Stolz has more.
The homeowner's son, Hitesh Lal, said they lost everything in the blaze.
My dad woke up and he advised us that there's a small fire in the house. So I advised my wife and kids to get out of the house. So they just get out of the house. And we advised our neighbors to call NFI.
Lal and his neighbor Anil Kumar claims that the firefighters did not have access to water as there were no fire hydrants in the area.
People didn't have enough water in the truck. Something wrong with their house because I'm not a fireman, so I don't know. They know much better. So they couldn't go on the side.
National Fire Authority Chief Executive John O'Connor acknowledged this, saying 2 more fire trucks from Suva were called to help the 2 from Valilevu that responded to the call. O'Connor says when the firefighters arrived on the scene, the home was fully engulfed in flames and it could not be saved.
The direction, the strategy in terms of fighting was to try and prevent it from spreading. So that if you've been to the side, it's quite close. And there's another one at the back. So that's why we, in terms of our resources, the officer in charge at the time made the decision that that was the priority.
O'Connor says while it is unfortunate, firefighters need to assess the situation and when the call comes in late, there's really little that they can do to save the property. Ellen Stalls, FBC News.
The Land Transport Authority will focus more on enforcement work come 2016. Chief Executive Naisatuna Deva says with the allocation of $18 million to LTA in the 2016 budget, the authority will be able to purchase latest technology together with conducting more awareness. Savara Tambua has more.
Government, in its bid to reduce the high number of road fatalities, as a result, has set aside a capital grant of $6.5 million for LTA operations. LTA CEO Naisatuna Deva has confirmed latest technology needs to be installed in order to reduce accidents on our roads.
We want to really equip our vehicle inspection centers with more kind of modern equipment that will really assist us to do our checks and having this vehicle pass before they run on the road. So more of this work too on checking the vehicle emission and smoke. That is will be part of other big projects that we will be looking or focusing in 2016.
LTA, in its effort trying to reduce the number of fatalities on our roads, also needs its enforcement officers to be equipped with devices.
We're going to get more weigh bridges and some portable scales to assist us in clamping down on this overloading. Now, the other part that we also will be looking at next year in terms of our enforcement is to putting couple more cameras on our roads to help us in this overspeeding problem.
The operating grant for LTA has increased from $15 million in 2015 to $18 million for next year, and its capital grant has increased to $6.5 million for new projects. Sabira Tambua, FBC News.
Stay tuned, still to come, licenses to drive soon for bikers in the country.
मेरा चांद मुझे आया है नजर, ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर। छाया है नशा मेरे आंखों पर, ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर। रह जाए ना प्यासा मेरा प्यार, मेरे बाहों में भर दे मेरा यार, ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर, ऐ रात जरा थम थम के गुजर। है दोस्तों, मैं हूं जितेन शांडिल। आप रात के बाद हमारे साथ अब रफ्तार प्रोग्राम में 3 से लेकर रात 7 के बीच शामिल हो सकते हैं। मिर्ची FM, इट्स हॉट।
Welcome back here with FBC News. The Legal Aid Commission has been allocated $5 million to build offices in the outer islands and rural communities. Finance Minister Ayah Syed Qayyum says these people need access to legal services as much as anyone else in other centres. With a 73% increase in budgetary allocation, the chairman for Justice and Human Rights Committee, Ashnil Sudhakar, says this will assist in strengthening law and justice in the country.
There'll be a lot more new courthouses coming up. There's one substantial development in Lotoka, a new courthouse is coming up there. And there's been an allocation for more employment of more judicial staff. A lot of temporary judicial staff will be made permanent now. And there'll be recruitment of more lawyers in the department.
Meanwhile, Legal Aid will open new offices in Levuka, Nambawalu, Kandavu and Rotuma. Senior citizens of Dudley Memorial Church were hosted to a special celebration in Suva this afternoon. The annual celebration is an opportunity for the members of the church to show their appreciation and care towards the elderly in the congregation. Alan Stoltz has the story.
At the special celebrations, Assistant Health Minister Veena Bhatnagar reminded people of how important it is for all of us to show our appreciation for senior citizens.
Initiative to set apart this day to favour them with this celebration is indicative of the Church's recognition of their enormous contribution to society and how they are valued in our church community.
Organised by the Women's Fellowship arm of the Dudley Memorial Church, the event also gave the elderly a chance to voice some of their concerns. One of the major concerns for these senior citizens was the amount of time that they spent waiting to be seen by a doctor or a nurse at a hospital or a healthcare centre. They asked the Assistant Minister Veena Bhatnagar if this time could be shortened. Another concern was the issuing of cards for the free medicine scheme.
I'm glad they asked me this question, but the Ministry of Health and Medical Services, we are already looking into prioritizing our services to our senior citizens, actually the children and the senior citizens. We will very soon give a directive to all the health facilities for them to be seen first.
The celebration also included a special recognition for one of their oldest serving female members of the church, Mavis Basawaya. Special certificates were also given out to senior citizens and members of the congregation. Ellen Stoltz, FBC News.
Well, the best lineup of local artists with Fiji's most popular bands are currently showcasing their talent at the 6th Corona Festival of Music, Dance and Lights at the Uprising Beach Resort. Farzana Nisha was part of the festival earlier today and files this report.
It started off as a perfect Saturday for all who are out to enjoy the vibes of local music. The organizers of the festival say there will be a huge display of entertainment for the crowd, keeping in mind that all cultures are represented through music.
From the hip-hop side of things later on this evening, Technical Glitch with Christopher Malam and his DJ partner Albi Nitro. They'll be here performing this evening. Nicky Colombo out of the Gold Coast, Australia. We've also got Jay Hode, who's been performing at our event since day one at the Uprising. Jay was actually born in Fiji, so it's his way of coming back and giving back to the country he was born. He loves Fiji so much.
A music maestro who has been in the industry for over 50 years is out to provide the best sounds for all those present at the one-day event.
I'm more into all genres of music, and I do jazz, funk, island music.
Apart from locals, visitors also took out time to enjoy the sounds of what Fijian music is all about.
I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. Fiji's a beautiful country.
Meanwhile, the festival is expected to rock the crowd with spectacular music and dance here in Pacific Harbour. Farzana Nisha, FBC News.
The Land Transport Authority will soon strengthen its legislation surrounding the operation of motorbikes in the country. A famous biker and Minister for Public Enterprise, Fayaz Koya, launched the campaign for motorcycle safety this morning. Sabara Tambua has more on the bikers and their toys.
Motorcycles remain the most vulnerable group among all road users, but with the launching of the campaign this morning, bikers will soon be more recognized. LTA Chief Executive Naisa Tuinadeva said the authority will conduct more awareness about the new operation before distributing licenses for bikers.
This kind of awareness will, get the spirits out across the board. More people wanting to do this. But if that is so, then the Land Transport Authority will definitely need to quickly look into not only the legislation, but our processes in terms of licensing riders.
Few bikers shared their views on riding motorbikes.
And everyone drives in a car, and you're enclosed around windows and all. You've got the wind blowing in your face. We've got good roads from good highways being built right around Fiji.
Fun. It's fun, definitely. Every time you get on, it puts a smile on your face. So it's nice to be out on the open road, and usually you get a nice reception from people when you go past. They're smiling and waving.
Minister Koya also had a timely advice for those who ride these beauties.
Empowering people to embrace road safety as a way of life must be inculcated at a very young age, and not when people are eligible to hold a driving license.
With LTA and government coming together to ensure bikers have the same treatment as other road users, it's up to these riders to ensure they follow the rules being set in place. Sabera Tambua, FBC News.
The Lautoka High Court has granted bail to the 16 Nandronga men and women charged with sedition and urging communal antagonism. The defense filed for bail for 5 of the accused based on medical grounds. An affidavit of the prison's physician confirmed that 5 of the accused persons could not be treated at the prisons. The defense then filed an application for bail for the remaining accused persons, to which the state objected, citing prosecution has a strong case. The state also informed the court that police investigations had concluded. And the 16 are to report to the nearest police station every week, not to interfere with state witnesses, not to leave Viti Levu, not to meet with 3 or more people except for family and family gatherings. Justice Madigan has set trial dates for the first week of February 2016. Now, the prolonged dry spell in the western maritime regions of Fiji continues to take its toll on the populace. To date, the villagers of village Yasawa Ira have had to rely on 9 wells over the last 11 months to source water for daily use. Madhubole Tamana has more on the story.
Water supply continues to be a real challenge for those living in the northernmost part of the Yasawa group.
Water is a real problem for us here in Yasawa because the 3 pumps on these boreholes is not working. We had to rely on rainwater and use it very sparingly for the past 11 months.
Over the past 11 months, 2 shipments of water have berthed at the village to ease the burden of the dry spell on the island.
So far we have had 2 shipments of water from Viti Levu brought to us. But what keeps us in good stead is the 9 wells we have dug in the village. This has really eased the burden for the 60 households in the village.
The villagers hope that after their Talanoa session with Prime Minister Borenge Bainimarama this week, their water problems will be a thing of the past after the repairs of their water pumps. Madhubole Tamana, FBC News.
Coming up in sports, Fiji Sevens resort to cost cutting. And clubs vie for futsal title.
Imbula bina na turanga na marama na turbugi na ngone lewa. Imbula bina rawani. Karuita kini marata itiron da bivingomi na bio liba ni Radio Fiji 1 na bay viti na bunga ni biyan yan. Oya upio rotuanga na mninda ni bengravi. Na makia mo na kita tiri karua moniti kina barumbuka. Ene wasini ngono baru taki kilo manikoro iluto na karomo.
Welcome to FBC Sports. The Vodafone Fiji 7 side is determined to make the most of every dollar that will be given to them following the 2016 National Budget Address yesterday for the upcoming World Series and Rio Olympic Games. Coach Ben Ryan has even taken some cost-cutting measures to ensure the boys have the best preparation possible for the busy season ahead. Chalendal Vakavaka has more.
Ben Ryan was all smiles yesterday after the government put aside $5.4 million, from which a portion is reserved for the team's preparation to the Rio Olympic Games.
Our money, it goes on camps, goes on players' wages. I want to try to give the boys a good salary so they can and increase our squad, so we don't have to worry about them disappearing overseas. They don't have to worry about making sure that their families and everyone else can get on with concentrating on the job at hand, which is to be the best team in the world for not just for this year and next year, but for a long time to come.
Ryan has set out cost-cutting measures for Fiji's World Series title defense, as this will serve them well heading into Rio next August.
I think for me there'll be a big weight that will come off our shoulders, because we are scurrying around trying to find dollars to pay for camps, for kit, for everything, and we're going to the next tournament with our old kit from last year, so it's a tight budget, but it doesn't mean suddenly that the money appears that we start throwing it around. It will be just as tight with it, and it will go to the right areas.
While he awaits word on Sevens Rugby's cut for the Rio Olympics, Ryan's focus now turns to the Motherwater Sevens in Lambasa next week, from which he will select a 16-man squad for the Dubai and Cape Town Sevens tournaments next month. Silent Otakataka, FBC Sports.
The Telecom Fijiana team that will represent Fiji at the Oceania Sevens in New Zealand was announced yesterday. It is the same lineup of players who won the plate title at the Central Coast Sevens in Australia last month. And the team departs our shores on Wednesday, with the Oceania Sevens to be held next Saturday and Sunday in Auckland. The hosting of the Super Rugby match between the Super Rugby franchises, the Chiefs and Crusaders, is expected to put Fiji in the limelight.
Now that's huge publicity for Fiji. So the big people to benefit are the hotels, the industry. So now I hope they give some of that support back to sports.
And the Crusaders-Chiefs clash will be held at the ANZ Stadium in Suva on July 1st next year, starting at 7:35 p.m. Well, some sizzling football was witnessed at the Islands Pacific Apparel Futsal Tournament in Nandi today. The tournament features a record 60 teams divided into 12 pools, with some teams having the services of district reps to bolster their chances for glory. Chalendao Dakadaka has more.
The futsal tournament is in its second year running, and this year's turnout is by far the biggest.
A total of 151 games, that's immense. So yes, we are really proud to be hosting futsal here in Nandi and trying to help with the growth of the game itself.
The level of competition has also gone up another notch with the presence of district reps from around the country.
Defending champions, Red Devils, they have done well with the futsal reps. Mohammed Salmin is there, and then they got the district rep of Safim Baksh, so they look good to be on track to try and defend their title. Then we got the other teams like Foar, the Bar district reps are there. We got teams from Lautoka Press and Homeboys. They also have got a couple of district reps playing there.
The finals will be held tomorrow, with the winner to earn $1,100 and the runners-up to collect $350. Silent Otakavaka, FBC Sports.
Sydney FC has maintained its spot atop the A-League ladder following a grueling scoreless draw with Brisbane Roar last night. Generally fine weather conditions, apart from isolated brief showers, were experienced over the eastern parts of the larger island today. A trough of low pressure with associated cloud and showers affects Tokelau and extends over to the northern Cooks to Tahiti. Meanwhile, a broad east to southeast wind flow prevails over most southwest Pacific Island countries. In temperatures, Nadi was the hottest today on 33 degrees, followed by Ba and Lautoka on 32. Lambasa recorded 31 with Suva on 29, and Savu was the coolest on 26 degrees. Now for tomorrow's forecast, brief showers over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. It should be fine apart from possible afternoon or evening showers elsewhere. As for the outlook for Monday, no major changes are expected. Recapping the main stories again. Finance Minister Ayaz Sayed Qayyum says there is a need for a progressive taxation system so those earning less can benefit more. A family of 9 are homeless after an early morning blaze destroyed their 4-bedroom home. An LTA to strengthen its legislation in relation to the operation of motorbikes in the country. On to our poll question. This week we ask, should fireworks restrictions be relaxed from 2016? You can visit our FBC website to take part. You can also send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email, citizens@fbc.com.fj, or share it with us via our Facebook page, FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply #FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. Good night.
Isang bulan na orang cuma nama tadi kau ni orang ni lebih banyak tadi ke ni sama pun. Ni ada di isang bulan na sero kau di sana. Cuma kira nama orang cuma. Tu nak sele. Ni isang bulan, oh ya Mr. Ben. Kenapa? Nama kira ni film tak kamu ni kira orang bukan main orang. Kena dia, enak bulan FM. Betul.